before the coming of Europeans, we had a natural mindset given to us. The mindset we had was very, mindset of, of human beings. We didn't have, there wasn't need to aspire so much to, there wasn't any need for that because nature provided everything for us, provided food, animal, everything. And we're actually in harmony with nature. We conserve nature, we preserve nature, and then nature looked after us until our encounter with the Europeans, which changed who we are. They've changed our spirituality, our identity.
I perfectly agree with you, Chido. Our encounter with the European did have a lot of negative effect on us as a people. Because now it's enough for you to look around, you see what we believe in terms of whether we are talking of religion, talking of the so-called modernity. We have basically lost track of who we are. And this have a lot of negative effect on the people, no? Because history have a lot to do in terms of where the people are going. That is why if you go to many advanced society, they don't play around with their history. Because that is, like I was saying before in the first question, that is how they are able to tie the knot that is holding them together. That is how they are able to understand their place in the world, able to know where they have succeeded before, and know how they can replicate it again, able to know where they have failed before so that they can avoid that part. But in Africa, for example, we talk very little about our history. Of course, I can understand this, that because a lot of people are poor, because they don't have the basic necessity to be able to live and compete in the world. So what's supposed to be very important as history or things like that are not really considered that much because people want to survive. They need food. They need to be able to have shelter over their head. That becomes the objective goal of many Africans. And this, of course, depending on how we are able to look at this, we can also see that it has become a tool that is being used by those who are running the system to keep the people in that level. Because if they manage to go beyond that level, then they can then think, they can then reflect, they can then examine their own way of behavior to understand that there are certain things they need to do and there are certain things they don't need to do to be able to change their situation. But if they remain in a perpetual poverty, where they are merely existing, then it becomes difficult for them to challenge some of those issues, and then they remain in a cycle where you are only thinking of how to survive today, tomorrow. That is all you are thinking about. You are never thinking about how you are able to break that cycle and then live as you were supposed to live as a human being and like every other human being in the world. So this is something that is really sort of challenging to a lot of people in Africa. The question I really want to ask you here is, how important is our history? Of course, I've done also a podcast on this before where I talked to a guy where we basically look at the issue on the importance of African history because it is so vital. So I don't know if you want to say something about that.
And without your history, you cannot fix your future. Sometimes Africans say, oh, forget about yesterday, forget about this, forget about that. Europeans never forget about their history. They still talk about their history of 10,000 years ago, and they're all documented. We are the only race that has not documented the history, how our forefathers, how our ancestors. We don't have documentaries of our civilization. Okay, how can we fix the present? We don't even know who our gods are. We've acquired the European gods and European saints. So it's and this also has to do with mindset, because remember that our mindset were meticulously altered. There were need for the Europeans to work on the way that we think, the way we perceive life, the way we see things, our beliefs, our spirituality, because these are who we are. They are our decency, our strength. As soon as that's been taken away from us and diluted, we've gone from being human beings to being commodities. And again, remember, even up till 19th century, the American Constitution still have Black people as subhumans. That means we are not really human beings. So how do you expect them to treat us like human beings up till this point in time? So they have been very instrumental in diluting our mindset. And that is the reason Africa, Nigeria, is finding it difficult to stand on their feet. One may ask, how do we tackle these problems? If I tell you one way, you probably say, oh, no. But realistically, our spirituality becomes our strength, because our spirituality is our guide to decency, our guide to civilization. But that's been taken away from us. So now we've been engulfed with other people's, with alien way of doing things, which is not ancestral to us. And we can never be the best of what we've copied. No one, you can't copy from me and become the best, because I created the model. So we are more or less like people who have copied a certain way of life, and it's never going to work for us except we embrace who we are again. That means we have to embrace our own spirituality, go back to traditional way of reasoning. Do you understand what I mean? Because that is, again, our decency. It's going to guide us on how we treat one another, how we get on with one another, which is very important, because you cannot thrive as people if you're not in unity, if you don't reason. Okay, look at Nigeria, look at Africa. Africa is in crisis. Africa is in peril. We spend a lot of money fighting wars, trying to combat wars. So much resources that have been channeled into something much better. And look at the recent problem we are facing now, COVID-19. That one is historic because it's taking us again. COVID-19 only would take us at least 70 years back into poverty, because the monies we are dispensing right now on COVID, trillions Africans are spending on a problem that is not genetically geographical to us. We're talking about viruses, that is cold, flu, right? Problems in Africa, parasites, mosquito, fungi, bacteria, road accident, hunger, people being hungry and angry for change. These are the problems we face in Africa. But again, misplacement of priority in a grand scale, never seen before. Huge amount of monies are dispensed. Where does those money end up? In the pockets of our leaders. I was watching the news the other day. I saw United States government sent us, Biden actually have sent about 40 mobile beds. That is really, it's hilarious. 40 mobile beds for COVID-19. We have hospitals in Nigeria. You need to equip the hospitals. You need to put the facilities in the hospitals. You need the doctors well taken care of. You need the nurses well trained. We don't need beds for COVID-19. So the mindset of our people continue to understand that, it's not about give me fish. It's about show me how to fish. It's not about give me a bag of rice. It's about I want to cultivate rice myself. It's not about you're my brother. I want you to go there and become a governor. No. Are you the right? You're my brother. Do you have leadership qualities? Have you been tested? That is why look at Mary Trump. Mary Trump is Trump's cousin. But she don't agree with him Because Mary thinks that Trump does not have the same mindset of Trump. Is not the right guy to be there. You're not going to see a situation like that in Nigeria. If you are a president, everybody, your villagers, everybody around you becomes your ally. They're not going to ask you questions because all they're waiting is for you to come around and give them bags of rice, handouts, money, and all that.
All right, with that, I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Chido. It has been a pleasure talking with you, and that is all we have time for today. So if there is anything that we really must take away from this podcast, let's be as Chido has said, that it is very important that we don't continue with this mindset, with this behavior of always asking people, give me, so that we can survive, and then survive to be able to ask, give me tomorrow. Let's try to cultivate the idea of teach me, show me how to do it. Because this is very important, because when you operate from that level of mindset, then you operate from the level of abundance. Because what you really need is not somebody giving you food, but teaching you how to do it. Because we have a lot of food in Nigeria, of course. If we don't correct the mindset that what we really need is the know-how, then of course we continue to import rice, import toothpick, import everything, even though we have all abundance around us. So it is the question of mindset that we really need to change. Our understanding of life as it is, understanding how things function in this world, so that at the end of the day, we don't remain in this loop of always needing help, of always stretching our hand for somebody to come and give us help. Because that is not really what we need. Because the people that are giving you help, they are giving you help for you to be alive so that you can continue to ask for help. And as you continue to ask for their help, of course, they remain always your master and you remain their servant. If you take a look, for example, of the relationship between Africa and Europe for at least the past 500 years, you will understand that the idea usually goes like this. Europe is helping Africa. I already made this analogy in one of my books. Actually, that was in the year 2010. The title is Underdevelopment in Africa, My Hands Are Clean. Try to look at the responsibility of the African people as it relates to underdevelopment in Africa, because we are very fast to accuse other people, accuse the European, the Western for slavery, for colonialism and neo-colonialism and what we have today, which is true. They are responsible for all what they have done. But we have paid little attention, very little attention on our part of the bargain, that we as a people, as Africans, we have also contributed to where we are today and continuously contributing to remain where we are today. So until we change our mindset, it's going to be difficult to have a kind of a different outlook. So like I was saying before, the relationship between Africa and Europe is based on this idea of help, that one is helping the other. Of course, to the European scholars, they would never lay any emphasis on the fact that they are ripping Africa dry. Of course, we don't expect them to say that. If they say that, how are they going to be able to justify why they are needed in Africa if they are just there to take also? Instead, it is reversed. The argument is reversed for the African people to always need the European in terms of technology, in terms of food, in terms of clothing, for everything, as if they don't have the capacity to do anything at all. And somehow, this mindset, this way of thinking, passed through our leaders and gets to the mind of the people. But it is false. It is falsehood. It is not true. What is true is that for every country in the world, that want to occupy an important position in the global affair, they need to be able to provide what they need. So the question of mindset, we have only barely touched it today. We are going to revisit it again and again because this is very, very important. So thank you again for having listened to us. And please do make your effort to revisit this discussion of mindset. Thank you and have a good time.